What is No Bottom Shelf?
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 What is it?
What's going on, everybody? I would like to say hello and welcome to another episode of the NoBS Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Jordan Pierce, and today, first of all, let me just say it feels damn good to be doing this again. Started back up last week, and I don't know, just kind of feels refreshing. I should say, it feels very refreshing. But I'm gonna be real short today. I ain't got too much on my mind, at least not off the top of my head right now. But today, I just want to talk about environment. Excuse me too if I sound a little congested. The allergies been whooping my ass. But now I'm talking about environment. How environment is so important in like pretty much achieving your goals and being in alignment and being who you truly are. I believe your environment can influence you to like steer away from yourself, you know. It's a lot of people right now struggling, I believe, to be themselves in the world that we lived in. So right now, I think the easiest way to aid you in being yourself is to make sure that your environment is right. So like, you know, they always say a flower can't grow out of concrete, stuff like that. So you need the right environment so that way you can be, you can reach your fullest potential. So I just kind of want to give like some examples of that. I know for those of you who don't know, I have two beautiful children. My daughter's the oldest, and then my son is a couple years younger than her. And I noticed a big difference in between them as far as like the baby stage, right? So main thing is my son started walking hella early. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he started walking at like 7 months, like 7.5 months. I think like 6 months he was standing up. Like by like 7-8 months, my man was walking, like at least taking a few steps before he fall, right? And my daughter, on the other hand, like I said, my daughter was our first, and she didn't start walking until like she was damn near one. Like I want to say maybe a month. Yeah, like 11 months. Like I know it's like no sooner than 10, but I want to say it was like 11 months. Like I want to say it was only a couple weeks before her first birthday. Cause I remember we was worrying, me and my fiance, we was worrying about if she was going to walk for her birthday. Like if she was going to be able to, you know, enjoy her birthday and be out there walking, because we had bought her these shoes. And like, they was like real cute, some little shell top Adidas and stuff that matched her little get up or whatever. But I was like, man, she ain't even gonna be able to walk in these Jones. Like I was real tight, but I say all that to say, the environment that she was in, like I will be able to just put her somewhere and she just be chilling. Like she'll play with her toys or whatever like that at that age. She's seen us walking around and stuff like that, but she had no desire to, you know, like, I guess you could say walk around with us or something like that. But my son, on the other hand, seen his sister like walking, and he wanting to play with her, and she's giving him all this attention. Like I have another kid. I know kids can, like, when they're, especially in the baby stage, I strongly believe that they can, I don't know if there's science behind this, but I think that they can see, tell the difference between like adult energy and other kid energy. Like they have to, like, because my son, like I said, my daughter didn't want to walk. She didn't even want to be on the floor. Like for real. Like she'll sit on her butt, but like you put her, like, you know, like they say put the babies on their stomach sometimes, like give them floor time, tummy time or whatever. Like see if they start trying to crawl or something like that. My daughter wasn't having that. You put her ass on the floor, she crying, bugging out. Like she was like mad lazy, bro. But I love that little girl to death. But my son, on the other hand, he loved the floor always. And then he started crawling. He crawled literally for like a week before he started trying to stand up. Like he seen like his sister just running around, like jumping off stuff and doing this. And he like, yo, I want to do that. So he started trying to pull himself up. And I'm like, yo, I remember first time we seen it, like me and my fiance looked at each other like, yo, like, what is he doing? Like he literally trying to pull himself up. He like, nah, I don't want to do that. But I think it was the environment. I think it was him being around my daughter, him seeing another child or another kid, that energy, like, oh, she's playing around, jumping around. I want to do that. So let me do that. My daughter, on the other hand, she ain't have that. She wasn't around like a bunch of other kids like that. Now I think about it, yeah, she wasn't around a bunch of other kids like that too, like all the time to have that idea of, hey, I want to do that. I see that, so I want to do that. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, I don't see it, so it's like, I'm just kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. That's not what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? It's like, since you don't see it, you don't know that you can do that. You get what I'm saying? So that was kind of her thing. But as far as his thing was, he could walk. Like, he was like, yo, like, she can walk. I know I can walk. I want to do that. So let me do that. So that's how that environment changed. Let me say how that environment affected both of them. And that's how they grew differently in that aspect. I think that was so amazing. And then another example could be, excuse me, myself, right? I wasn't aware of this at the moment. Cause like I said, I just became like more self-aware about myself and like my journey and what I'm supposed to be doing and stuff. But growing up, I played sports. I played football, basketball, and baseball pretty much all my life. I did track in high school for 2 years, but I really wasn't really into it. And I stopped playing baseball after my freshman year. And everybody would tell me, like my family and like other people would tell me, like, yo, baseball is your best sport. Like, I've seen you play all three. Baseball is your sport. Like, you should continue to play baseball and like really, really like try to play baseball. Like, that should be your goal, right? And I mean, I hated baseball. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I didn't like it. I still to this day not too fond of it. Like, I'll play for fun and stuff like that, but when it get a little serious, it's kind of like, all right, like I just kind of check out. But looking back, yes, baseball was my best. In fact, my best sport. Like, looking back, if I want to be honest with you, it was my best sport. But environment made me stop playing. Like growing up, yeah, I hated it. But like, I played with my brother. I played with my cousins. I played with like my friends. So like it was a different atmosphere when we were playing as kids. But when we got to high school, my brother, he changed his whole thing to like basketball. He was like, I ain't playing baseball no more. I want to play basketball. Basketball is where I want to like excel at, right? Like, and a bunch of all of my other friends that like I was cool with wasn't playing baseball. They was playing track. They was running track, like doing track and field. So, I really wasn't, not saying I didn't have friends on the baseball team, because I did, but like my core friends, like the ones I really, really rocked with, they did not play baseball. So it kind of was like I was out there kind of solo, low key. But so that environment mixed with the fact that I didn't want to play anyway, because I really didn't like the sport, made me stop playing something that I was naturally good at. And who knows if I would have kept playing, where if I could have went and played it in college, or, you know what I mean, just anything, right? But that environment influenced me to stop playing, and influenced me to get away from who I naturally was. And I think that a lot of people do that. Another sport example, you can say the environment forced LeBron James to leave Cleveland the first time, right? Like the whole situation with his moms and a player. Like, I don't know all the ins and outs. I don't remember. That was years ago, but I remember it was like an issue or like something happened. Like I said, I don't remember the details, but I just know something happened with his moms, and like, you know what I mean? So like the environment there in that locker room wasn't the greatest for him. So I'm sure he probably wanted to leave anyway, maybe, possibly, who knows? But I'm sure that environment, especially after that incident or whatever happened, I'm sure that kind of helped him make that process to leave that much easier. So yeah, like environment is very, very strong. It's very powerful. So I think in life, you have three types of like environments that you can like be in, right? You have an environment that's going to make you grow. You have an environment that's going to make you shrink, obviously the opposite. And you have an environment that's going to keep you stagnant. It's going to keep you in the same spot. So as far as the growth environment, right? The growth environment is the people around you, or just the atmosphere that is you're striving for. So kind of like my son's situation, right? Like versus my daughter, like the environment that he was in, basically being around her, she's already running around. He wants to do that. He's aspiring to do something that she's doing. Is little as walking, right? But he's aspiring to do something like that. So that was like a growth environment, right? That my daughter, I guess you could say, didn't have, right? It makes me sound like a bad parent, but but it's just natural, right? So that is like a growth environment. Put yourself, and you want to always be in a growth environment. You always want to be around people that are forcing you to grow, that are forcing you to ask questions, to get answers and to understand at a higher level. You want to be in an environment where you're not the wealthiest or richest person. You're not the smartest person. You're not the best dressed. You're not the, you know what I mean? All these things, like, yeah, you want to aspire to be those things. But I feel like once you accomplish that, like once you become the wealthiest person in your group, or the best dressed in your group, or the smartest person in your group, or the most articulate in your group, like once you become those things, now it's your job to find another group. You can still not saying like just, okay, like I'm not about to hang out with these people no more, like I'm not about to be a part of this environment no more. No, what you need to do is then also find another group, or you can do two things. Find another group that's going to force you to aspire to grow, like, right, to be, if you're the smartest person in this group, okay, find another group where you're not the smartest person. You're I don't want to say dumbest person, but like you're just not the smartest person, right? You're kind of like just barely in the room. But it's going to force you to ask the questions you need to ask, going to force you to think how you need to think to then grow. But then you also want to keep the other friend group, because then you can kind of force them to grow, right? And so as you're growing, you're kind of bringing them up too. So you always want to be in an environment of growth, right? And then the opposite of that is basically an environment where you're shrinking. So, and all of this ties, like all of this, you need to be self-aware, right? You need to know who you are. You need to be self-aware and know what type of environments you need to thrive in, right? So like for me, I know the type of personality I have. I need to be around people. I'm a people person. That's just me. I need to be around people. So like even this right now, doing this podcast, Dolo, is a struggle. I'm not gonna lie. It's a struggle for me just to talk to a camera. But I feel like I said, this is a whole nother thing, because I feel like it was a calling, but this is a struggle for me. So like, yeah, I will have more people on here that I can talk to and have a conversation with. And that's like the goal, to that way I do less of these Dolo episodes. But when I do them, it is a struggle, but it's just something that needs to be done. But I know that this is not my strong suit. It's not my strong suit to be by myself. It's not my strong suit to just be in a room chilling, or like, I don't, you know what I mean? I don't like being alone. Like that's just not where I thrive at. I don't thrive where like some people thrive in doing things by themselves, or being like behind a computer, or just like being in the office space by themselves, like getting work done. That's just not me. That's not my personality, right? So like doing this, let's say I had no aspirations of like interviewing other people and getting other people on the podcast. This would be an environment of like that I could say I probably will shrink in, because eventually I probably will stop, or it wouldn't fill me, it wouldn't give me joy anymore. You know what I mean? So like I would probably like slowly, you know what I mean? Just kind of how it was before, like how I kind of fell off a little bit. It was kind of hard to do things how I wanted to do. Like I said, I'm a people person. I thrive off of other people's energy and vibes and stuff. So, environment where I would shrink would be me being by myself. That would be an environment where I would shrink at, or an environment where like it's not a lot of positive energy moving around. That's for everybody. So those are type of environments where you might see yourself shrinking and hanging around with the wrong people, being badly influenced by certain people, stuff like that. Like people, like if you, and you know, like everybody's wrong person or wrong people are different, right? You know, if you should or shouldn't be around these people by just your energy. Like if you got a gut feeling about being around a certain crowd of people or like a certain person, it just could be one, it could be a significant other, it could be anything. Like if you just have a gut feeling like just something's off, like I know I shouldn't be here. You go into, like me, another thing, I even know I'm a party, like not a party, but like a even though I'm a people person, I don't like crowds like that. I will say that I don't like big crowds. I'm not a concert goer. Like that's an environment that I don't thrive in. Like I just like I kind of get anxiety a little bit, right? Because I don't, not that I want to control everything, but like I'm more, I can do crowds that I know everybody, or that like I know that 90% of the people in here I know have positive or good intentions because I know them personally. So I know, but like when I'm just in a crowd of just random people, it kind of like I really can't enjoy anything that's going on because I'm constantly like watching, looking, especially when I'm like with my family and stuff like that, because now I'm just in protector mode, right? So those are environments that I don't thrive in. They will cause me to shrink and hold back. I can't be myself in that environment. So know who you are to figure out what environments that you thrive in and you don't thrive in. So that way you know that you're not shrinking, right? You're not getting to the point where you're falling back and you can't be the best you that you can be in that moment, right? So we talked about growth, we talked about shrinkage. Now let's talk about stagnant. Now, this one, I think the majority of people find themselves in, right? I feel like if they're not growing, you want to say, no, if I'm not growing, I'm shrinking. But I believe you can just be in a standstill. A lot of times, especially when people are comfortable. That's a good way to put it. Especially when people are comfortable. When people are comfortable, you tend to, you're not shrinking, but you're not growing. You're just there, right? And some could argue that, hey, if you're not growing at all, even if you're just there, you're constantly shrinking because life goes on and all that stuff. And that's perfectly fine. But just for the sake of this topic, I'm gonna just say you're just there, right? You're not growing, you're not shrinking, you're just there. You're comfortable. You get to a point where you don't want to aspire to do anything because your life is good right now. You're fine. You don't have to. You don't want anything else. You're just comfortable. But at the same time, like you're complacent. If that, I guess you could say, like you're just there, like in. This is a very scary place to be in. And I was there. I got to a point where I got comfortable. Hell, a lot of people get comfortable in their relationships, right? You see a lot of people, I call it like your representative, right? When you go on like your first date, you send your representative out, like you know what I mean? Put on your get up, you go, you show out, you doing extra things because you're trying to basically win this prize, male or female, I'm talking for both, trying to win this prize. And then once you get the prize, all right, the first couple weeks, months, whatever, maybe year, you really still got your representative there. And then slowly but surely, like your representative kind of takes the back burner, and then your real self comes out, and you like, whoa, like you look a couple years later and it's like, yo, like I really got comfortable, right? Like I stopped where it'd be like working out. Like I know for me, like I know in my relationship, I got comfortable. I stopped working out at one point. I gained so much weight, like it was crazy. Like, I mean, granted, kids did that to me too, but like I did had the kids, but like having like all the food around and stuff like that, and the kids be wasting food, and the food be good. I like to eat. I'm a fat kid at heart, so. But anyway, yeah, man, you get comfortable, and that can be scary because then, since you don't have no aspirations, you're not trying to achieve something else because you're fine and you're complacent where you at. Then it's kind of like, all right, you're not being yourself in that position because you're not You're not trying to be the best you. You're just there. You're just operating in whatever. And a lot of times that happens because like you have like family members, like you're around the nest, right? A lot of people say like you have a safety net. Like a lot of people want you to like get out. I know you see the memes and the videos of saying, "Oh, get out of your hometown. Like go live outside of your hometown for like a year at least or whatever." So that way you don't have that safety net and you're forced to like really, really go out there and get it. But that's basically just forcing you to grow. It's forcing you to get out there and saying, you know what? I have to do X, Y, Z, or I'm not going to survive out here. I don't have nothing to fall back on. I can't get out here and get comfortable. I got to get out here and get it. That way, when I do go back, it's not like, oh, like I'm coming back for good. Like, nah, like I'm going out to get it. So yeah, man, just remember, like that's like just you always want to be in an environment of growth. You don't want to ever be in an environment of shrinkage, although like that's very seldom. You see that. Like a lot of times you just find yourself in an environment just that you're comfortable in. And I'm not saying comfort is a bad thing, because like you can grow, and then like kind of hit like a mini plateau and get comfortable there. You can be comfortable there for a short period of time. It's kind of like celebrating, right? Like, all right, I've done X, Y, Z. I got to this point. Cool. I can take a breather, right? I can relax a little bit. But then you want to get to that point where it's like, all right, bet I'm back on the grind. Like, how else can I be better, right? So take an inventory of your environment. Like, look at your surroundings. Look at the people that you talk to, the places that you frequent, right? Your work environment. But look at all those things. Evaluate them. I always like to evaluate like every 3 months. I feel like it's always a good time to kind of evaluate things, but just evaluate your life, evaluate your environment, and figure out where you can improve on if you need improvement. Some of you might really be at the point where like you're good to go. You're in environment of growth and you're doing things, and congratulations to you. But this is more or less for the people that aren't. So make sure you identify who you are first. You always want to be self-aware of what environments works best for you. If you're a people person, if you're not a people person, if you thrive around, like if you thrive in like a school setting, if you thrive in a just free flowing environment, like whatever it is, like you just figure out what you thrive in and then make sure you're constantly in that environment. So like me, I try to make sure I'm constantly around people. I'm always trying to go somewhere, or I'm trying to invite people over. Like that's just kind of where I can be my true self. And if you be your true self every day, you will be happy. Just being yourself, being who you are in your flesh skin, just being yourself and giving that true self to the world or whomever you encounter on a daily basis. I believe that is a strong key. I'm not saying that's the only thing that you need to be happy, but it is a strong part of it. Like I said, I'm a living testimony of that. Like as far as I go, I feel like everybody, I know I'm happiest when I'm being myself in whatever environment, but especially the environments that I thrive in, especially when I'm around people. And I've always been like that. So yeah, that's all I got today. Just remember, environment is everything. Environment is important. Like I said, evaluate it and always be self-aware of the environment and self-aware of yourself, how you act in the environment. If you're not sure if you thrive in an environment or not, and kind of if you go to a place and you kind of you don't know how you feel about it, just the energy, something in your gut is telling you like, I shouldn't be here, or like this isn't the best type of setting for me to do whatever I need to do, then you kind of know, okay, that might not be the right environment to execute whatever you were trying to execute in, right? Yeah, I think I kind of said everything I need to say. I've been talking for like 20 minutes, trying to keep these ones short when I'm just by myself, but I can rant. But I want to thank y'all for listening. It's going to be another episode of the NoBS Podcast. Like I said, I'm the host, Jordan Pierce. I appreciate y'all listening, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.